So, as noted in several of the scenarios, case law does play an important part in locating examples of motions and pleadings. Finding a prior case with similar legal arguments and/or facts offers the ability to view the motions and pleadings filed in that earlier matter. Whether that argument won or lost, these examples can point you to authority for the motion and assist you in drafting your own motion. Since case law research is important to motion practice, the strengthening of these skills is imperative. So let's do a quick review of the Courthouse Law Library resources for conducting case law research. Digests are becoming the forgotten resource for research. Too often we immediately turn to our electronic research database, our Westlaw, our Lexis, CaseMaker, whatever you happen to be using. However, keyword searching is only as good as the keywords we use. If we are not using the correct terms or we are not including relevant terms, we will miss out on results. As that old adage happens to go, garbage in, garbage out. And even the vendor-claimed advantages of artificial intelligence does not yet fully compensate for this particular flaw. Digests, by contrast, do not rely solely on keyword. Yes, you do approach the digest starting with a specific term or concept, but the index will quickly expose you to other terms or concepts that may prove of value. Since the purpose of a digest is to index cases based on legal issues, keyword language alone does not determine the entries under which a case is referenced. The human element may also review decisions and assess under what entries that particular case should appear. And this element moves the classification out and beyond simple keyword recognition. A digest not only provides cases based on your original search path, but opens you up to optional search paths, which you may or may not choose to explore, and gathers in references with more than a simple keyword. Some Connecticut digests are West Connecticut Digest, which uses the West key numbering system, which is a nationally developed outline of legal subjects and topics. West then superimposes this standardized outline onto each jurisdiction that it covers, which includes the federal jurisdictions and all 50 states. This is a very extensive outline, and it breaks topics and concepts down to a granular level, allowing you to get very specific in your research. It is also a great resource for locating cases addressing similar issues or concepts. The key number system, which is available in the digest, is also available in Westlaw. So this facilitates your moving back and forth between the print and the online database. In Westlaw, you can also execute a search using a key number. So if you would think of using this digest and your research as if your research were a path you're following, and maybe you have a very broad concept you're dealing. So instead of a path, you're really sort of a highway almost. And it's almost too broad. You're pulling in too many references. The West Digest, through that outline, you can break your concept down into finer and finer topics. So you can narrow that research and limit the number of decisions and which ones are relevant to match your matter. On the flip side, the opposite can happen. Sometimes you're going to approach your research and you're too specific with your topic, and you're not finding many cases or similar references because you're just too specific. The digest, by exposing you to the larger outline, allows you to back up a level or two and expand your concept. Maybe you need to be a little bit broader and bring in other related types of situations or fact patterns. And lastly, of course, with the index having C and C also references, you may be traveling down your path of research, but now you're exposed to another path that's running parallel. And you may choose to explore and follow that path also. So instead of just one concept, you may be following two different concepts that may be relevant and apply at any time. So digests especially the West Digest, can be used to expand your research, to narrow your research, and also to find other relevant paths of research. There are a few older Connecticut Digests which may at times prove of value, and they are the Dowling's Digest, the Phillips Digest, and the Baldwin's Digest. There are also a few treatises which in effect function as a digest. One such title is the Connecticut Criminal Case Law Handbook, which provides substantial references to criminal rulings in Connecticut. As noted in our scenario, this title is not updated and does require follow-up research on any of the references. Another example is the Connecticut Family Law Citations, which provides a listing of recent family law decisions on specific family law matters. And it's a good overview of how the courts are ruling on these matters. Words and Phrases, which is another West publication, it covers all jurisdictions and is a type of digest. However, unlike the standard digest, which seeks to provide references to all cases, or as many as possible, that discuss a legal term or concept, Words and Phrases only references those cases which define a legal term or concept. So it's a very valuable resource for directly locating decisions that illustrates how a jurisdiction defines or interprets a term or concept. Most of our libraries have this title, although not all of them are currently up to date, but Words and Phrases is available through our Patron Access Westlaw, and so that may be used as a method for updating it. Another type of resource for locating cases, especially those addressing specific statutes or court rules, is an annotated compilation of the statutes or court rules. Some titles to be noted in this area would be from the Connecticut Practice Series, the Connecticut Superior Court Rules Annotated, the Juvenile Court Rules, the Rules of Appellate Procedure, also referred to as the RAPs, and the Rules of Evidence. Other compilations such as DuPont on Connecticut Civil Practice also provide these types of references. The editorial references in these compilations can assist in locating decisions that address a specific statute or rule. Again, these references can lead you into the court records, and these records can be in the records and briefs, and for recent decisions in the party name access of records via case lookup. So again, you can use it for finding those earlier motions. As illustrated in one of our scenarios, subject-specific treatises often include references to case law, which again is illustrated of a concept or a development in how the courts have been ruling on a particular matter. Some of those treatises may also include samples of pleadings or motions. Some other resources for locating cases in Connecticut include the Connecticut Law Reporter. This is a privately published compilation of selected Superior Court decisions, and it is issued on a weekly basis. The editorial classifications and summations assist you in utilizing this publication. This publication is available in all of the Judicial Branch law libraries, and it is a really good tool for current awareness. The Connecticut Law Tribune. This is a privately published legal newspaper, and it does include brief abstracts about recent court decisions in the Connecticut federal and state level jurisdictions. This publication is also available within all of our libraries. The Judicial Branch website itself houses some decisions. On the branch website, you will find the advanced release opinions from the Supreme and Appellate Courts. And these are as they are being released by the court. And since last July, the Connecticut Law Journal is also now available on the Judicial Branch website for locating the officially published versions of those advanced release opinions. Other decisions included on the site are the Family Support Magistrate decisions, the Tax Court Session decisions, Statewide Grievance Committee decisions, and Ethics Advisory opinions. The Law Library Services News Log is a good resource for locating many of these decisions. The news log posts the Supreme and Appellate Court release decisions, and it organizes them by broad subjects, along with other types of Connecticut legal news and current awareness information. The news log can be a means for locating cases from the Connecticut Law Journal, and it's also, again, a very good source for current awareness. Another resource for Connecticut case law is the Law Library Services Research Guides, which Tony described in our medical malpractice scenario. The guides often include decisions which define a legal term or concept, are seminal decisions on a matter, and also often recent decisions. Our librarians look for and include decisions which may reflect changes in interpretation by the court. Again, our guides are intended to be a starting point for research, not a comprehensive compilation of all cases on any given topic. There are several online research services available in our libraries. These services include Patron Access Westlaw, Patron Access Lexis, and HeinOnline. The applications are available for use on our Patron Access computers in our libraries. Due to licensing restrictions, we are not able to offer remote access to these services, so you must be physically in one of our law libraries to access them. And the library computer use rules do apply when using these applications. Patron Access Westlaw offers access to the primary law for all 50 states and federal jurisdictions. So your statutes, your rules, your regs, your cases, and more. Included in this subscription are selected secondary sources, such as the Connecticut Practice Series, all 22 titles of that series, the Connecticut Estate Practice Series, Amjur, and several titles of Amjurs, both the original encyclopedia, but also Amjur Trials, Amjur Proof of Facts, the Restatements of the Law, all titles and all editions, and the American Law Reports, both the national and federal sets. A very large law journal, law review, and legal news data file is available, along with a general news and newswire file. Patron Access Westlaw may not have all of the convenience features you may have in your own private subscription, such as foldering and quick links, but it does allow for the ability, with limitations, to print and email materials. Westlaw case law searching can be done using the search engine, the default search engine of Westlaw, called WestSearch, and this is very similar to a Google type search. Or, if you would like, you can exert greater control on your search by using terms and connectors, the traditional Boolean searching, or there are templates for searching available. Template searching allows you to limit your searches to specific fields within a case or a document, such as the synopsis or the majority opinion. And it can also allow you to utilize some of the Westlaw features, such as the digest or the words and phrases. Patron Access Lexis offers access to primary law for all 50 states and federal jurisdiction. Again, the statutes, the rules, the regs, the cases, and such. Included in this access are selected treatises, such as the Bender's Forms of Interrogatories, which were mentioned in the motor vehicle tort scenario. Treatises included cover the subject areas of employment and labor law, family law, personal injury law, workers' compensation law, and real estate law. Like Westlaw, Lexis offers both a vendor Google-like search, or, again, you can exert more control by using terms and connectors, and there are some templates available for searching. Lexis provides its own digesting through headnotes that can be used to search for other cases on a similar topic. Just like you use the key numbers, you can use these headnotes. And like Westlaw, certain features found in the private subscriptions that you may have in your office won't appear here, again, foldering or quick links, but you are able, with limitations, to do some printing and emailing from the database. HeinOnline is a database which provides access to images of original documents. Resources found on HeinOnline include a very large file of law journals and law reviews, one of the largest collection there is. You'll also find the U.S. Code, current and earlier versions, and federal regulations, both the CFR and the Federal Register, going back to Volume 1 of each. Case law is there, early American case law. You'll also will find Canadian and English case law along with statutes. There's a file of legal classics and U.S. treaties and agreements. Documents from HeinOnline can be accessed in either PDF or in text format. Our libraries offer access to both of the major online citators, KeyCite on Westlaw and Shepard's on Lexis. Few libraries still do maintain a current subscription to the Connecticut print Shepards, but the majority of us have moved over to the online. Citators are a wonderful resource for finding case law on a similar issue of law. Once you have found a decision that is perfectly on point for you, a citator can help in locating other later decisions that cite your initial decision. Those later citing cases, along with discussing the same legal issue, may also show you how the courts have addressed that issue and how it has evolved over time. Both KeyCite and Shepard's allow you to add limiters such as jurisdiction or date. Again, you can limit by those key numbers or headnotes also to narrow your research even further. And that pretty much covers what I had to say on case law. Tara?
Before we turn it over to Tony, I have a few questions for you, Claudia. So with the words and phrases that you had mentioned, because it's a multi-jurisdictional set, how would I go about finding Connecticut cases in it?
Okay, a couple of ways. First, the multi-jurisdictional one, they do arrange the entries by jurisdiction, so you will have the federal first and then all the states, so Connecticut's will all be together under there. But with West, when you get into individual state or jurisdiction digests also, such as the Connecticut Digest, the last few volumes of the set are a words and phrases volumes. So it would be, again, those entries of the decisions for Connecticut that define terms or concepts, and you'll be able to use a words and phrases as sort of a subpart of the Connecticut Digest as opposed to the entire jurisdiction coverage.
Great, thank you for that information. So now I'm going to turn it over to Tony, who will conclude today's program by speaking to us about some of the Judicial Branch Law Library services. Tony?
Thank you. As indicated before, I am Tony Booth, and I am the Law Librarian for the Danbury Law Library. There are 12 Judicial Branch Law Libraries throughout the state, and they are located in the JD courthouses. The hours for the libraries are generally the same as the courthouse hours, Mondays through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. However, a few libraries do have reduced schedules. You can find the hours for our libraries on our website, which I will discuss shortly. Since many of our libraries are also solo librarian-run facilities, every effort is made to arrange for staff coverage when a librarian is out. And you may, at times, see librarians from other locations cover it. However, in some instances, it is not possible to arrange for coverage. On our library's webpage, we provide a link to any weekly changes to the regular hours for any of the libraries. I recommend checking there to see if there are any temporary changes to the schedule for the library you plan to visit. You are also welcome, of course, to call the library directly to confirm that a library is open as scheduled. Legal reference in our libraries is in person in the library, by telephone, and via email. All of our staff, myself included, are professional librarians holding advanced degrees from accredited library and information science schools. We are able to provide you with references to resources for conducting your research and guidance on how to utilize a resource. We can help you identify the issue to be researched, strategize how to approach your research, and offer suggestions on resources. We also provide instruction on using the various online resources made available in our libraries. We are here to assist you in doing your own research, and in general are not able to do extensive research for you. Don't hesitate to request our assistance in person in the library, by calling us, or by emailing us. Our Ask a Librarian service is an email reference service. On our website, you will see a button on the right-hand side labeled Contact Us. Clicking on this button, and then on the Law Librarian's email link, will allow you to send an email to the service. There's also a tab labeled Ask a Librarian, which floats on the right-hand side of the window as you move through our website. Through this service, we can offer you references to resources for conducting your research, links to internet-accessible information when available, and in some situations, we can attach documents. Questions through the Ask a Librarian service are answered during court business hours, generally Monday through Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., excluding weekends and holidays. Questions are usually answered within 24 hours of receipt within court business hours. Our newest service is live chat. This service is offered Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and is accessed through our webpage using the live chat button. Using that button, you can engage in a real-time remote reference conversation with one of our law librarians. Whenever possible, we will try to locate and direct you to web resources which may assist you with your research question. Our libraries have strong Connecticut print collections, consisting of primary law and secondary and analytical resources. We strive to keep our Connecticut practice collections as inclusive and current as possible. The Connecticut collections include procedural analysis, publications, annotated codifications, form books, and digests. The general law collections include primary law, annotated codifications, subject treatises, and form books as well. Since we are a system of law libraries, items may be borrowed between libraries. So, in reality, the entire collection of the Judicial Branch Law Library System is available for you to use at whatever library you are located at. As mentioned before by Claudia, we offer access to several online databases. They include Patron Access Westlaw, Patron Access Lexis, and HeinOnline. All of these resources are accessible in all of the law libraries. Claudia already spoke about what is available on these databases, but to reiterate, Westlaw offers access to primary law for all 50 states and federal jurisdictions. It also has access to selected secondary resources, such as the Connecticut Practice Series, the Annotated Statutes, ALRs, Restatements, and selected Andger titles. There is also a large law review, journal, and newsletter data file. Lexis also offers primary law for all 50 states and federal. It includes selected treatises in specific subject areas, and includes some well-regarded titles such as Bender's Forms of Discovery, Powell on Real Property, and Collier on Bankruptcy. As noted, HeinOnline is an image database with a PDF of a large collection of law reviews and journals, along with other items of interest such as case law, treaties and agreements, and legal classics. Do remember that the Law Library computer use rules apply when using these applications, along with any vendor license restrictions. All of these services allow for printing and emailing of material. Unfortunately, as already noted, there is no remote access to these services. Along with accessing our online services, our public computers also have a word processing application and are available to you for drafting forms. Each library has some sample forms on the public access computers to facilitate your drafting of forms in the library. These forms include pre-formatted pleading headers, customized to the local JD or GA, and, in some instances, a leading sentence or two. Drafted motions, pleadings, or agreements worked out between you and opposing counsel can be printed, emailed, or e-filed right from the library's public access computers. Our computers can of course be used for case lookup, and you can also e-file from our computer. Just log in and file that pleading you just created. Our computers, having internet access, allow you to easily reach your internet email provider, including such products as Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, and others. We do have a computer use policy which is posted in the libraries. I encourage you to review it along with our general law library use policy. Both are also available on our website. All our libraries provide both copiers and printers. Copying and printing is 10 cents a page. Change and small bills are accepted. On our website, you will find information on our libraries and our services, along with resources to assist you with your research. As I mentioned, information regarding our library hours and locations can be located here. Click on Our Libraries, and you will find links to our locations, hours, contact information, the Ask a Librarian service, electronic resources available in the libraries, and the library's library use and computer rules. We also include FAQs regarding the libraries and research. Notice here at the top of the home page, there is a link to see any changes to library hours for the week. And again, I strongly encourage you to use that before you come to the library for your visit. The News and New in our website area houses information on updates or additions to the site or other current material which you may want to be aware of. The buttons on the right that you see are a quick way to access some of our major services and resources. The Contact Us button provides quick access to our contact information, Ask a Librarian service, our live chat service. Both buttons are also available on our main page. The Search Our Catalog button allows you to see what publications our libraries have on a subject or to confirm where a particular title is housed. Do remember, our libraries share materials with each other. At this point, I should also mention that we are members of the NELCO Consortium and are able to interlibrary loan materials from other member libraries in the region. As mentioned in our Med-Mal scenario, the Law by Subject pages created by the law library staff are designed to pull together links to authoritative internet resources on a Connecticut legal topic. In contrast to those, our research guides provide references to governing statutes, rules, and state regulations and policies, topical discussions of Connecticut practice treatises, and relevant Connecticut form books. The purpose of the guides is to provide a deeper overview of a legal topic or procedure in Connecticut and to point you towards the authoritative sources for more in-depth information, both in print and online. Since library staff has already vetted the resources, you can rely on them being from reputable sources. Both the pages and the guides are reviewed on a regular basis, with corrections and additions being made to keep them as accurate and current as possible. Another useful resource created by the law librarians is the Connecticut Ordinances and Charters by Town page. This page is a chart of the cities and towns in Connecticut. For each one, we provide a link to the municipality's ordinances, charter, and/or regulations should they be available on the internet. Lastly, we provide the telephone number to the city or town clerk's office. This resource is reviewed on a regular basis and is a great source for finding accurate municipal information. If you look across the menu bar at the top of our homepage, you will find links to our Connecticut and federal link directory pages. These pages are an organized listing of viable Connecticut and federal internet resources. All links have been vetted by the library staff. The links are arranged in broad groupings to help you navigate. And like all well-known link directories, these pages are designed to assist you in quickly locating accurate and authoritative information. Using these pages can save you valuable time and frustration. Lastly, I'd like to point out the news log. The news log is a current awareness blog maintained by the law librarians. Here you will find postings regarding recent Connecticut decisions and changes in court rules. The news log posts the most recent Connecticut Law Journal on a weekly basis. Postings regarding updates to our research guides will also appear here. But one of the most valuable aspects of this service is the indexing of the released decisions by broad topic. This provides you with a quick way to locate and track Connecticut released decisions on a specific area of law. Our news log offers the options to subscribe, to receive notices in your office or at home when cases, the Connecticut Law Journal, or information is released on one of the indexing topics. You also have the opportunity to subscribe to an RSS feed of the news log. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Tony. And before we conclude, I just have a few more questions. So, Tony, will you or any of the librarians run a Westlaw or Lexis search for me?
No, not usually. We strongly urge people to come in and take use of those products in our library with the assistance of a librarian. Very often the user is able to expand their research and discover things that a third party like a librarian cannot.
Great. Also, you had talked about being able to borrow items from the other libraries outside the courthouses. How would I go about doing that?
Just go to the law librarian in the law library that you're visiting and ask about it. They should be able to arrange for it if at all possible.
Okay. One final question. Can I access web pages on my phone?
Yes, absolutely. The Judicial Branch web pages and the Law Library's web pages are dynamic web pages and will generally format very well to any number of devices.
Excellent. So this ends our program today. We hope that you found the information provided to be useful to you. If you have any questions, I would encourage you to contact one of our libraries. The librarian can answer any of your questions and also show you any of the resources that were mentioned in today's program. Thank you for watching.